everybody! So, today I am going to tell you about what happened yesterday. And at first I was just like, I'm just going to post this and it has nothing to do with my autism. But then I was telling my mother about it and she knows like the whole story. So she's just like, no, it has like a lot to do with your autism. And then as we started talking about it, then I realized nuances like in myself that is the autism. So either way, I'm going to explain those the best that I can because I don't even understand when I'm doing certain things sometimes until you know, somebody else tells me. But, okay, so last night I had an encounter with a crazy person. And I don't mean like mentally crazy because I wouldn't say anything like that, but no, this legit was a crazy lady. So I don't like going to the grocery store. Multiple reasons. I have a whole bunch to say about overstimulation and too much information. That's coming up in another vlog soon. So keep a lookout for that one. But because of that, I, for the past 2 years, have been using ships.com to order my groceries through and get them delivered to my door. So not only do I not have to actually go to the grocery store, it actually saves you money because you're not impulse buying. It's really nice. Um, so my groceries stay within a nice little beautiful budget and I get everything I need and I don't waste food because before I was wasting so much food. Well, that being said, I did my shipped order last night and this past weekend I went LARPing. I'll talk about that in another vlog too with my LARP group and one of the tavern mistress said that she would make keto friendly stuff. And I'm not keto, but I know what keto is, and I want to start eating healthier, lose a little bit of weight and stuff like that. So I was inspired after that for this week when I was ordering my groceries, instead of actually getting frozen meals, because I would get food to make, but then I would get a whole bunch of like frozen meals, that I was just going to get two meats, chicken and pork chops, and instead of having and no frozen meals, and I would do that for lunch and dinner because for breakfast I just drink a little shake. So I was like, okay, gonna get the chicken, gonna get the pork chops. I had it all planned out. I was gonna Instapot the chicken. I was gonna pan fry the pork chops. I was gonna freeze half of both. It was gonna be wonderful. So I made my order and my groceries were supposed to be delivered between 6 and 7. And I understand that I know that my ship shopper is supposed to text me when they start shopping, because they're like super friendly. They're like, hey, this is your ship shopper, let me know if you need anything. And I'm like, okay, cool, no, I don't need anything, thanks. But oh, that's how I say it in my head. So anyway, what happened was I didn't get a text from my ship shopper. This only ever happened like one other time, and the order actually got dropped and picked up by another person, and shipped told me that directly. But when that didn't happen, and I actually did get a text from her later on saying that she was done and that she was on her way, I was like, okay, well, cool. A little irritated that she didn't, like do her, normal thing, but I was like, whatever. So lady has trouble finding my apartment. No big deal. Everyone has trouble finding my apartment. It's in a weird spot. She finally gets here and she brings my bags up the stairs and she puts the bags down and I'm about to thank her, but then she says, oh, by the way, they didn't have your chicken thighs at the store. I even asked the guy to go look in the back and they didn't have anything. Yeah, that was kind of like my expression. Maybe a little bit shorter, but that's how I was in the inside because I don't have my chicken thighs now. So I say to her though, so I don't have any chicken thighs? And she says, well, no. And I said, well, why didn't you text me to tell me that they didn't have that brand of chicken thighs? And she goes, well, and I said, because that's your job. It says in the instructions that if they don't have something, you're supposed to text me, and you didn't text me. She goes, well, she has no answer. She just keeps saying, well, and that irritates me. So I say, well, it's okay. I'll just mark you at a 1 so you're not you don't shop my orders again. She gets irritated. I'm already irritated. Note. My mother says that most people probably wouldn't have said that. Now that's what I was thinking. I I said it out loud, and these are certain things that that I think about a lot to be like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that because it could lead to XYZ. But I said it, and lady got irritated, and she goes, what are they going to do? Fire me? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I just don't want you to shop my orders anymore. So then she then proceeds to tell me, oh, by the way, your bag broke for your Lipton drinks. These things. They come in like a pack of 12. And how that broke, I don't know. Never happened before, but it broke. So like half of them are in another bag that has smushed some of my food, but whatever. So she goes back down to her car to get the rest of them. So she goes into the car, she comes back, and she's starting to hand them to me. And of course, she told me the bag is broken, so why she hands them to me like the way she did, but they spill out everywhere. And I'm just like, I actually did that. Like, I did a deep breath sigh, and I just said, don't worry about it. I said, don't worry about it, I got it. And this lady, I apologize, this vlog's gonna have some cussing in it. This lady says to me, she goes, well, bitch, just clean it up. And I said, did you just call me a bitch? So I didn't do that, but I wanted to, but I didn't. I just looked at her and I said, did you just call me a bitch? And she goes, no. And I said, yeah, you did. So now, instead of me just reporting her on the little app and giving her 1 star, I'm actually going to call Shipped now because she's been disrespectful. First off, she didn't do her job properly to begin with because she didn't text me. Second of all, she didn't text me to tell me that my chicken wasn't there. Third off, she done spilled all my drinks on the floor and called me the B word. So now I'm going to report her right there on the spot. So I actually pull out my phone and I said, like, I can't say it. If I say the words, hey, the little thing, the Amazon dot will say something. But so I said it and I was just like, Shipped customer support. And so it dials the number. She knows it dials, and she's sitting there and she's just like, well, and she goes, yeah, you call them. You call them. Like, literally, this is like how she is the whole time. And I'm like, what are you doing? So she's calling me the B word now. And I'm like, well, you're the one that's acting like the B word and everything. And she's standing there and she's still like posturing. And mind you, I am still in my apartment. I have yet to step over the threshold of my apartment. I'm just standing there. So she's standing right outside yelling at me at my place of living. So then I'm like, I have it on speaker because she said that she wanted to, talk to them. She's like, yeah, do it. I don't think she thought I was gonna do it. I don't think I realized at that point in time that she was like really trying to rile me up and it wasn't working because of my mindset. Anyway, so she's still posturing, she's still kind of like chest bumping and stuff like that and yelling, and she's all riled up. And I'm kind of like, I yell back at her, but I'm not like doing all of that. I'm just standing there because I'm going to talk shit. And she says, she goes to take off her jacket, like to fight me. And so I stop and I look at her and I say, just like this, not raised voice, I said, I wouldn't do that. I know martial arts. Now, everybody, I am not that great with martial arts. I am just a teeny tiny little low belt. They call me a baby because I do not even know how to crawl yet. But I know how to defend myself if need be. And this was a warning because she is outside of my apartment. If she comes into my apartment, she was warned. So her response to this was, martial arts, martial arts. I don't care if you know martial arts. I got a gun. This chick straight up said she got a gun. And she says, I got a gun in the car. And she ran down the steps to the car. She didn't make it to the car, but she ran down the steps to the car. And I'm like, well, one of two things are going to happen. Because in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, if she actually produces a gun, I'm going to hang up, call 911 and like close my door. Or she faking. So I'm looking at her because I still haven't left my apartment and waiting to see if she's actually gonna like open her car door and produce a gun. And she doesn't. So the whole time I'm still on hold because shift is busy. And so I say to her, so are you gonna come back up here and talk to shift or are you leaving now? Woo, did that piss her off? Because I didn't yell at her. I was like, are you, what, like, originally, her original thing was, I'm gonna go, I wanna talk to ship. So, she runs back up the stairs without a gun. Runs back up the stairs, standing in front of me, still yelling at me, calling me the B word, man, calling me ugly, telling me that, I'm black this and I'm black that. And I'm like, well, you're black and you're the one that's actually doing the yelling. This is my internal monologue because I'm not talking to her anymore. I'm like, you're the one that's acting like this and da da da. What is going on? She's crazy. And so I'm sitting there still waiting for Ship. I'm just like, okay, well, we'll talk to Ship. And she yells for about another 30, 45 seconds before she, I guess, gets tired of yelling. And so she runs back down the stairs and actually gets in the car. And I think that's the end of it. But wait, it's not. So she's in her car, guys. She rolls down her window. Yeah, it was one of those older cars, so you couldn't do no power windows, so she had to roll down her window. She rolls down her window and proceeds to yell at me from her car. Yep. But I'm the black ghetto one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So she's yelling at me from her car. She actually yelled at me for about another like 2 minutes from her car. And I said nothing this whole entire time. I'm literally just looking at her because I'm still have not left the threshold of my apartment. I stood there the whole time. I am assuming she wanted me to come out. She wanted me to fight. Whatever. I don't know what she wanted, but she was just so angry. Now, if I had not said what I said, and I said it so matter of factly because it was not in malice or anything, but I literally just said, well, I'll just mark you as a one so you're no longer my ship shopper. So that's how this whole thing, I guess, started. But it was really because she irritated me because she didn't do her job right. But anyway, so after about 2 more minutes of her yelling, I'm still on hold. She finally rolls the window back up and like drives away. And I watch her like go around the bend and I'm like, okay, cool, so she's gone now. So I close my door and proceed to make my pork chops in the Instapot instead of pan frying them because I no longer have chicken. And once I'm done, or once finally shipped answers, and I tell the guy the whole entire story. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna report my ship shopper, and he goes, sure, I can help you with that. And then he goes, what happened? And I was like, and so I told him the whole story. Quiet. He was quiet the whole time. So I told him the whole story about, how she threatened me, that I said, that when she took off her jacket, the whole martial arts thing, then she said she had a gun and running up at me, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. And, he was just like, wow, I'm so sorry. I wish you that hadn't happened. I'm going to go ahead and report her. Like right now, I'm going to flag her account. I'm going to flag her account for safety. Apparently like that's her escalation thing because something dangerous happened. I say this with quotation marks, but it really was dangerous. It's just crazy. And, so he's just like, here's a $5 credit. And then he's like, I'm gonna also give you a $7 credit because I mentioned that I was mostly upset about the fact that now I was gonna have to do another order to get chicken thighs. And it was going to be less than $35 and thus I would have a delivery fee. So he credited me $7 for a delivery fee, which is great. The delivery fee isn't $7. He just credited me that much. So then I was just like, okay, cool. And I'm like, that's the end of it. She probably won't really get disciplined, but whatever. I mean, maybe she will, but yeah. I was kind of done with it. Now, about 15 minutes later, I do get a phone call. Uh, and it is a shipped lady. And she's just like, this is my personal cell phone number. I am horrified by what happened. We are deactivating her account. If anything happens, like if anything happens, I think she thought that maybe the lady would come back, which, she could, she's crazy. Just call me. This is my personal number, da 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 da, and everything like that. She goes, I'm also gonna refund your order. I'm like, cool, free groceries. And she goes, I'm gonna give you a $200 credit. I'm like, woo, free groceries for a month and a half. Yay me! And I was just like, seriously? She's like, yes. And she goes, we really don't, I guess, my mother explained it to me later on because in my mind I was just like, why you didn't really have to do that? And my mom's like, well, they don't want to like lose a customer and that's not their image, so they're doing everything to make it right. And I'm like, oh, okay. So stuff like that I don't really think about. I have a completely different instance of something like that happening where someone had to explain to me why something was a certain way because that's not how I think, and that's coming up in a actual, like, that's going to come up in a vlog too. It's a very good one. It's about the workspace. um so yeah, that was my crazy experience last night. But what I didn't realize, because like I said, I was just gonna vlog it because it was an interesting experience, but I said to my mother, oh, it has nothing to do with autism. She's like, no, it has everything to do with autism. And I'm like, how? Like, where is it? Because I don't see some of the stuff that I do, but my friends and family do. So my mother was like, well, the whole thing about, one, you knew the rules and you were a stickler for the rules, and like it bothered you so much that she didn't do the rules that you said something to her about it. But you said something to her about it in such a, like, I said it in such a matter of fact way that it actually irritated that person, which is something that I have tried to work with with my therapist, is how to speak to people in the social world without it seeming terrible or bad. But in my mind it wasn't terrible or bad. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna report you, but like, it probably was the way that I said it that made it more of a impact. And then, what my mother said is that the whole situation about how it didn't, whereas in some situations I get super stressed out and super anxiety, and something like that could have had me in a complete mental meltdown. But in this situation, because I was so sure of what was right, that instead of actually engaging with this lady, I'm like, no, I'm going to call this people. And then I actually called her back up. I actually said to her, after she went to say that she was going to go get a gun, I was just like, well, you said you wanted to talk to the shipped people, so are you coming back up here or are you leaving now? Like, I kind of need to know. So I wasn't even like, yeah, I knew there was danger. I understood that there was danger, but the forefront of my mind was, so are you talking to them or are you leaving? Because if you're leaving, I'm going to close the door. Like, that's kind of where my mind was. And that's like where my mom says that my autism comes in. And when I really think about that, when there are some people that are on the spectrum, and one of the things that they struggle with is stranger danger. And though I feel like I have a really good grasp of stranger danger and when something is dangerous, in certain situations of like that, instead of me knowing, oh, this is bad because a lady said something about a gun, some people on the spectrum don't even pick up on that. And I'm glad that I do pick up on it, but at the same time, now that I'm really thinking about it, when I was retelling this to my friends, everybody said at the moment that she said gun, they would have closed the door. But instead, I didn't close the door because I was more worried about her talking to the shipped people like she wanted to. So I think that that's a little, so I do have some of the, I don't understand that I should probably, like, I get it but I don't. So uh but that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Crazy lady and me. I got free groceries out of it. She doesn't work for that company anymore. Oh well. Anyways, that's it. Everybody, please like, subscribe, do your little notification bell, and please share it. Share it with your friends. It's great. It's fun. It's hilarious. Get a little laugh out of it. But, I want to keep spreading what it is in my world. So do the things and always stay unique. Bye, guys.